I'm back to talk more shit about designer jewelry that I don't think is worth your money. So many of you agreed with my opinion of the Van Cleef & Arpels Alhambra collection, as well as the Cartier Juste un Clou bracelet, and now we're going to talk about another piece that keeps getting brought up in the comments, the Cartier Love Bracelet. This is yet another iconic piece of designer jewelry that has copies and counterfeits flooding the market. I don't dislike this bracelet as much as I dislike the Alhambra collection and the Juste un Clou bracelet, but I do feel that you are not necessarily getting your money's worth when you buy it. This was designed in 1969 by Aldo Cipullo. He's the same designer responsible for the nail bracelet, and it was not initially designed for Cartier. He first brought this design to Tiffany, who rejected it. After this, he brought it to Cartier New York. In 1969, Cartier New York and Cartier Paris were operating as two separate businesses, and the head of Cartier New York jumped on this design immediately. This would kickstart Aldo Cipullo's time at Cartier, designing pieces that completely changed the face of the brand and are still some of their most popular designs today. Cipullo said that he based this design on medieval chastity belts, which themselves are largely a myth. Most of the examples that we have of so-called chastity belts are actually from the Victorian era and probably have more to do with some private kinks than any medieval customs. What made this bracelet so distinctive was that it was made in two halves that had to be screwed together using a special screwdriver. They have since changed the way that it gets put on, which I think is a bit of a cop-out. Instead of requiring two screws and coming apart in two halves, it now requires one screw and has a hinge mechanism on one half. This, to me, takes away some of what makes the bracelet special. It does also start at $6,100 for the medium version of the bracelet. Of course, I can't just talk shit. I have to show you what I think are better examples that are in the same spirit. This is not the first time that a locking bracelet has been popular. As you can see by my necklace, a padlock that has its own key is not a new concept. These were very popular during the Victorian era, and my little padlock is not intended to be worn on a necklace, but was most likely made to be worn on a bracelet. Much like my necklace, you could only open these original Victorian era bracelets with their matching keys. Another take on this theme, which is perhaps a little bit more visually similar to the love bracelet, is the Victorian concept of wedding bracelets. In this case, a woman would be given a matching set of bracelets when she got engaged. This would be a gift from her fiancé, and she would wear one of the bracelets starting at her engagement and put the other one on her other wrist when she was married. While these did not lock in place, they signified the same thing as the padlock bracelet and the love bracelets, a symbol of love, commitment, and fidelity. Both the padlock bracelet and the matching wedding bracelets remained popular for quite a while, well into the early 20th century, and had a resurgence in popularity during the 1940s, when there was a huge Victorian revival trend.